What's going on, guys? Welcome to the UFC Florida recap show. I'm your host, Ryan Galloway, and joining me today, as usual, is site manager Jordan Ellis.
Hi, guys.
And so I think we're just going to jump in from the top of the card, which was the main event that was between Alistair Overeem and Walt Harris. Obviously, there was a lot of emotions going into this, being Walt Harris's return after the situation with his daughter and everything. And I thought the fight delivered, and in the first round, I definitely saw him being able to get the finish there. If the ref had called it off there, I wouldn't have complained about the stoppage. But Overeem just proved his resilience and showed his potential of the old Overeem, and just carried on and got the win. What did you think?
Yeah, it was a tough loss for Walt, because I thought at one point Overeem actually might have went out. He was eating punches on the floor, and one just really knocked his head back, and he looked to be gone for a second. But Dan Migliata, great ref job, because he let him go. He knew he was still in the fight, and he come back so strong. And then it was almost like heartbreaking to watch, because Walt wanted it so much, and then he's just stuck in that position. You got someone like Alistair Overeem, 260 odd pounds, just punching you in the face, and it was tough to watch. But credit to Walt, because he could, I made the prediction on here, and in our staff predictions, I thought Walt would catch him early and he'd get him, and he just so close. It couldn't have been closer to being stopped. But then in the end, I think Alistair's just such a crafty veteran. He gets it done no matter what. He survived that chin check. He looked brilliant. Because everyone questions his chin all the time, and he still managed to come back and survive. Walt Harris is a big guy as well. He survived that, and that's impressive. So it's a shame for Walt. Obviously, it would have been like a nice little story for him, and would have made him feel great. But Overeem, he deserves to be amongst the top 5 now, and going again for the title, because that was a great win.
Absolutely, and he really showed his versatility, coming out there and getting hit. Like you said, he got tagged, he was dropped, and he was in trouble, and he went straight back to the grappling where he felt safe. He flattened Harris out, and just you could see the life drain from him, on the ground. In the first round, even, towards the end of the first round, it looked like Harris's gas tank was empty. So going into that second round, I kind of assumed what did happen would happen,
I think they were saying on the broadcast that he was a bit heavy than usual. He had to cut a bit of weight to make heavyweight, which is it's not surprising at all. But he still looked great. He just looked, once he didn't get the finish, then he put everything into it, and you can't blame him for emptying the gas tank, because it was there to be finished, and everyone speculates that Overeem's chin isn't 100%. So if you've hurt him, try and finish him, because you might as well. But credit to Overeem, he survived it, and then he landed a beautiful head kick. That's what got it all started, and it was beautiful work. And I'm really excited to see what's next for Overeem, because he's 40 years old and he's had about 100 fights, but and on his day he can beat anyone. So I'm excited to see who they put him in with, and then obviously, hopefully we see Harris sooner rather than later. He seems to be, in good spirits considering everything that's been going on, and he's still one of the top guys. He nearly had that win over Overeem, which is massive. So he can just come back again, and he can be at the top soon enough himself.
Yeah, and that was definitely a vintage Overeem performance. One of his best that I've seen in recent times anyway. And I heard after the fight he was calling for a rematch with Jairzinho Rozenstruik. What do you think about that matchup? Would you like to see that again?
I don't know. I think Rozenstruik needs to go have a little step down. I just don't think after getting flatlined like that, you want to be going back to Overeem again, which is another tough fight. I think he's so early in his MMA career, Rozenstruik. He just needs to go, and I'd prefer to see him fight someone like Ben Rothwell, or just a little drop. It's not that he's not a top guy. It can't harm him to get more time in the octagon, more wins under his belt, and I think Overeem should be shooting a bit higher. Although he did just lose to him, I think he should be going for someone off a win who, if he wins that fight, then he would be in line. Obviously Ngannou's right there, but Ngannou's got to wait, and he might want to get paid. So if you can get that rematch, I'm sure he's not as vocal about wanting that rematch, but I think that's who he should be shooting for, someone who, if he beats, he's going to get a title shot. Rozenstruik, he's not going to get a title shot by beating him.
No, absolutely not. I won't touch on Ngannou at the moment, because I'll save that for later. I've got some stuff to say about him. But I think other than Ngannou, who's above him, Curtis Blades. But he's already fought Curtis Blades, right? Curtis Blades TKO'd him, and now they're teammates, so I can't see that happening. maybe an Alexander Volkov, have they fought?
I don't think they have, but he's kind of on his way back as well, isn't he? It's if he's talking about trying to get another title shot, I only see Ngannou's the way to go. Anything other than that would just be a payday and a buying time fight. Like no one else is gonna get him a title shot. It's Ngannou or no one, which is it's not a great option to have.
No,
but
not at all.
there's still plenty of fights, entertaining fights. But why, if you're 40-year-old and you want to go and get a title shot, I don't think you should be taking fights for the sake of it right now. I think you should be taking fights that mean something, and Ngannou to me is the only one that means something.
Yeah, I just don't know if Ngannou would be interested in that because, like he said before, he wants to fight for the belt. That's all he wants to do, or prize fight. I can't see him getting a big payday to fight Overeem again. But on the flip side of that coin, who do you give Walt Harris now? Because he looked good. He almost got the job done in the first, so I don't think his stock's lowered. And, there's not... I can't remember where he was ranked, but there's not a lot of other guys really at his level, I guess, if you get what I mean. Like, he really has to go out, shoot for higher and face the opponents like Overeem, who are just a bit ahead of him in skill. I don't know about that, but you get what I mean. Or he can go lower and get an unranked guy like a Greg Hardy or something. What do you think he's going to do?
I think Walt Harris is easier to match. I think any of them guys you just spoke about, Rosenstruck, Volkov, Derrick Lewis, anyone along them lines, you could easily match him with. So he's kind of had this coming out party now. I think even though he lost that fight, that was a good fight for him because it got so many eyes on him. Everyone's paying attention to who Walt Harris is. Everyone's excited to see him fight next. Obviously, and hopefully we can see him win because people are rooting for Walt Harris. So you put him in a fight with a Derrick Lewis or someone like that, people are tuning in, I think, now. So he can have a pick of whoever he wants, and there's certainly a load of fights to make. He hasn't been fighting at the level of Overeem, so that was a jump. But then he can still mix it amongst them and, hopefully come back in a bit better shape and get a win there. But yeah, there's loads of fights for him.
What about an Overeem versus Derrick Lewis? What do you reckon about that?
Yeah, that'd be, if you were gonna take a staying busy fight, I wouldn't be going there Rosenstruck or Volkov. You'd take Derrick Lewis because Derrick Lewis he brings eyeballs, everyone likes him, he's fun, and then also it's a very winnable fight. Like Derrick Lewis, if he's not chinning you, you're gonna control the fight, you're gonna control the pace, I can see Overeem winning that, and Overeem gets quite big paydays. I think he gets massive paydays actually. So he'll be happy taking a big one against Derrick Lewis. I think that's less risky than fighting someone like Rosenstruck or even Volkov. For
sure. All right, well, we'll move on to the co-main event now, which had a lot of controversy surrounding it, and that was the Claudia Gadela's split decision win over Angela Hill. And I'll throw it off to you. What did you think of that fight, and who'd you give it to?
Well, first off, I thought it was a great fight. I was kind of not bashing it, but I was questioning it when we were speaking last time about why are they so high up the card. I didn't really understand it, but they put on an absolute war. I've literally, because these fights are so close, I've had to go back and watch them all. So I've just literally finished watching that one now. They're so hard to score, and that one on the night, I weren't particularly shocked that Gadea got it. I thought she was throwing the hardest strike. She was doing more damage, and I've just watched it back, and I kind of think Hill might have edged it. It's such a toss up, and I know the judges are getting a lot of stick, but I don't blame the judges on that one because it was so hard to score. Gadea definitely won the first round. I thought Hill definitely won the second round, and then the third round, it's about what you like. I think Hill was landing volume, but then I also think that Gadea was landing the bigger punches. So yeah, on the night I thought Gadea won. Just now, I probably thought the volume from Hill won it. But credit to Hill because that would have been my set pick that I would have put my biggest money on Gadea winning that, just because Hill hasn't fought at that level. She hasn't beat anyone at that level, and she just showed that a lot of people believe she did beat Gadea, and that's very impressive. So she'll come again, Gadea will come again, and no one loses in that fight. It's just a bit of a sting for Hill because she's not actually ranked, and she's just potentially beat the number 6 in the world, I think that it is. So yeah, I'm sure it stings for her, but she'll come back and she'll get another big fight. How did you see it?
I had it for Claudia. Even now, like rewatching it, I still have it for Claudia. I think in the first round, she definitely won because she took her down and had that control time. And the second round, I did give to Hill. Like, there was no doubt about that. But the third round, when I was watching it and like rewatching it, same thing. I did think that the better strikes were landed by Claudia. So yeah, I had it for her. I can see it either way, though. I can see why it's a controversial pick, because both of them went out there and showed that they can compete at that level and they belong there. And it was a good fight. Like, it was a very good fight. And I was as well really impressed with Angela Hill. I didn't think she'd do that well against that level of competition, but she proved me wrong, and she proved a lot of people wrong, I'd imagine. And she definitely belongs there. But I did have it for Claudia.
I do think, not bashing in the commentators, but they do have quite a big influence on how people immediately react to the fight. And whether they meant it or not, they were kind of big and uphill because she was landing some nice things. But then as she's landing pitter-pat shots, Gadea's hitting her with big shots, and they're not registering with the commentators. They're just focusing on what Hill's doing. So I think the biggest shot in round 3, you're seeing a bit of a hesitation from Hill, and the commentators barely react to it. So I think that does play a part, but no one got robbed in that one. It was a great fight, and it was it could have potentially been fight tonight because it was that good. It's just a shame that you do get these talk, like, as soon as anyone doesn't win who people think is going to win, it's a robbery, which it's not. It's over 3 rounds. It's hard to separate them. Do it again if you've got to, because I don't mind watching it again.
Yeah. So we'll leave that one and move on down the card to Dan Eag's defeat of Edson Barboza at featherweight for his debut. And I'll take this one first. I thought Barboza won it, and I thought he looked great at 145. He did, like, physically, he didn't even look bad. He didn't look too drained or anything. He got out there and he was like prime Barboza. He did really well. And in the first round, he knocked him down, and I thought he was going to close the show there. But obviously, he went for the ground and pound and landed those big shots. Didn't quite get the finish. But yeah, I had that fight score for him. But it was a competitive fight. I can see why it was a split decision. But just personally, I thought Barboza had that one.
Yeah, there was. I've just seen that as well. I think Barboza, if anyone got robbed on this card, I think it was Barboza. I think round 1 was big for him. He looked brilliant. I was saying I want to see him on the scales before I make any prediction on this fight, but he looked brilliant on the scales. He looked fine, and then in the fight, he looked big. He looked strong. He looked Barboza. He looked no different than what he looks at 55. So I was confident, like, watching him, and then he's just so relentless, and he just wouldn't let up. He was eating shots. It was kind of similar to what we've just been speaking about. Of Eag was landing, volume, but every time Barboza would land anything, he'd get a reaction, and you'd see it like that. I do think again it was close, and I think I understand how it could have gone to Eag. I think it was the second round where Eag dominated a fair chunk of the time, but then the actual bigger shots come from Barboza, and he ends up on top again, and he's landing strikes. So, okay, so on the night I gave it to Barboza, and then on my rewatch I also gave it to Barboza. I think it was close. I don't think he was particularly robbed. I thought if anyone was robbed, it was probably him on the card, but he's just got it's more for him. He was also on the wrong end of a split decision last time against Paul Felder, and then another one now. And like, what does he do from here? He's on the back of 2 defeats where he's looked good in both of them. So why? Like, he's probably rethinking his featherweight drop now because he's lost his debut. What does he do from here? And he can't appeal it, which is the most frustrating thing. It came out yesterday that you're not allowed to appeal decisions unless you've got evidence of drug use or some type of fraud, which is, I think judges need to be held accountable. But in this one, it was close, so I don't think it was going to get overturned. It went. I've seen worse decisions. I've seen much worse decisions. So it's just a shame for Barboza that it's 2 in a row for him now.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, that's 2 in a row. Both of them very close decisions. And before that, I think he got finished by Gaethje. So he's coming off 3 losses in a row. Am I right?
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, I think so. So what do you do at that point? He's taken the drop to featherweight and he's lost. I think he looks good at featherweight. I would like to see him stay there, and I think they should give him another high-ranked guy. Because it was close. Even if you gave the win to Eeg, I still think it was close enough to warrant giving him like a name guy instead of just putting him to the back of the line, you know? Maybe because did Dan Eeg have a number next to his name?
He was 15, so
Okay.
I don't know where you go from there.
Yeah.
If I don't think Barbo, I think he should stay at 145. Is he comfortable making that weight? He might as well just enjoy the height, like the advantages he's got. He was just relentless and wouldn't give him time, and he obviously put something it like he obviously made a stamp on the judges with what he was doing. But Barboza, he looked good, so why I don't get why you wouldn't just do it again or make that rematch. I think why not? I don't see how you can. I'm sure Eag's probably wanting to just take his run and his win and just run off, but Barboza, he deserves another shot. I hope he stays at 45 because I can see him beating a lot of guys there. It's just whether it is Dan Eag just a really tough guy, or is Barboza like maybe diminished his power by losing that weight? You know, I guess we'll find out soon enough.
I didn't think he diminished his power. You could hear the shots, like in that first round when he dropped him. It sounded rough, you know. I think he still carries that power over, and I think he does beat a lot of the guys in the top 15 there. I don't know if he's a top 5 guy at featherweight, but he's definitely in the mix, in the contenders, you know. So yeah, I'd like to see him stay there.
Yeah, and then you've also got Eagers, like he's ranked 15, but his record, he should be higher. He's got about, I think, 6 in a row right now. So yeah, he's a tough guy to, you know, come into. He was always going to stand up to them shots, and yeah, well done for him for getting that win, because that was a monster he was fighting there, and he got it. But however you see it, I don't think anyone was robbed.
No, absolutely. The next fight before that, I almost said after that, was Christoph Jaco versus Erik Anders. And you spoke to Erik Anders leading up to this fight, and he said he was going to make it as scrappy as possible, which is something I don't think he really did. He went for wrestling a lot of the time. He held him on the cage for a lot of the first round from memory, I think. And yeah, he did. He tried to make it scrappy, but ultimately I think he just got outpointed, and it was a pretty clear decision in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a frustrating fight to watch, because even though the decision went, you know, a close one, I went back and rewatched this just because I didn't have a clue what went on the night. I was you know, half zoned in, half zoned out. It wasn't a great fight at all. He was just like, you've got to give him credit because he was relentless going after that takedown. But at some point you've got to realize like it's not there, and just you know, try and throw hands. So he just seemed to get stuck on it, and then also the commentators were pointing out that he weren't fully committing to it, so that's why he weren't getting it. He kept changing and switching things. I think he did make it like it was a nip and tuck thing, but he just didn't get his own stuff off. And you can hold someone against the cage, but he's defending everything you're doing. You're not effectively doing anything. And that was quite a big fight in middleweight, because they're both on good little streaks, and now Jaco goes 3-0, and I'm sure he'll get quite a big fight next. It's a shame for Anders, because he's a nice guy, and he's got all the athletic ability in the world, and it's just. Yeah, he'll get there. It was just one of them nights where he just seemed to get stuck in a rut of trying to pull something off that weren't there. So I'm sure he'll go back and address that and come back stronger.
Yeah, the relentlessness of going that takedown was his downfall, I think, ultimately, because you could see that he was just being overpowered and he wasn't able to get the takedown. He's wasting all that energy and time, you know, and the judges see that, especially when the striking exchanges were dominated by Jaco, just not landing big, huge shots, just landing shots, you know, building up points to end up winning the fight. So it was a little disappointing, because I did expect a lot more from Anders in that fight. I thought he was going to get in his face and lay hands, but you know, that wasn't the strategy he went in there with, and unfortunately wasn't able to adapt in the fight. So what can you do?
I know Jaco got the win, but he also didn't particularly wow anyone or press anyone. You know, these fight cards where, you know, everyone's been waiting for so long, are like a chance to go out and like make a name for yourself. Everyone's watching. That's one of the fights that where unfortunately it just fell under the radar, and there were so many good fights, and that one just it just didn't live up to what you'd expected. But he's got his win, so I'm sure he's happy. Yeah,
I think that was definitely the weakest fight on the main card, because the fight before that, which we're talking about now, was the fight of the night between Songyi and Marlon Berra, which ended with a unanimous decision victory to Songyi. And I'll be the first to say I scored it for Berra. I thought he absolutely had it. The first round, it was pretty close to the first round. It was like testing the waters, you know. That could have gone either way, you know. The second round, I thought that Vera landed on him more. It looked like, I watched it back, and Song's landing big punches, but the volume is coming from Vera, and while he's not getting these big reactions from his punches, he's doing damage, and he's really like enforcing his power, you know. And the next round, the third round, was Vera all day. He got 2 takedowns, and he landed some huge stuff in the clinch, you know. Like, yeah, I thought that was... when it was a unanimous decision, when they said that, I was like, okay, Vera's won it. And then it was the other way around. This is the second time in a row that Song has got one of those questionable decisions. The last one being against Stamen. Is that right? Yeah, I think it was. Anyway, because that was the one with the point deduction. But that's what I thought. What did you think?
I kind of disagree with you. I thought Song Yudong, he pretty much had his way in round 1. He was throwing big bombs, he was landing them, and Vera's a tough guy for taking them. On the night I did score it for Vera, I've rewatched it, and I'm more leaning towards Yudong now. I thought his second round, what it hinged on. Obviously Yudong's throwing the volume, lots of big punches. But Vera was doing... Obviously, he was he's more experienced, and he was doing nice things. He was working the clinch, he was throwing lovely elbows, and he was doing cute things. But for me, the eye-catching shots were always coming from Yudong. He was trying to take his head off, and no power ever left them shots either. So it's... I know we say it's not good to see unanimous decisions when the fight's so close, but they've got to pick someone, haven't they? So with that one... Yeah, I thought Barboza, if anyone got robbed, it would have been Barboza. That one was it was such a great fight as well. I don't think it was... I thought that it weren't fight of the night, though. Did you pick that for fight of the night?
Yes, I did. I'm pretty sure I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
I really liked the Elkins one.
Oh, you thought that was fight of the night?
Yeah,
that was a mess. We'll get to that after. But back to this one. I can't see an argument for Yudong winning it. Honestly, I rewatched it just before, but I wasn't paying the closest attention. But yeah, like the third round is Vera all day. He lands those 2 takedowns, and I looked at the strike counts for all the rounds because it was going around Twitter, and I'm pretty sure Vera landed more in every single round. Maybe not the first, but the last 2 he definitely landed more. So I don't see how, because neither of them dropped the other. Neither of them had like a big moment that really changed the fight, you know, defined their like winning, you know. So I think you got to go off the strike count, and you got to go off who was the aggressor, and for a lot of the time it was Vera, you know.
Yeah, but you've got to realise that strike counts is it's not particularly relevant. I know people like to throw stats about, but the judges don't have these stats to hand.
That's true.
They're just watching a fight and looking at who they think won. And that's something I don't really pay attention to, strike counts and stats, and because who's actually making them? It's just some guy pressing a button, I think. So, but that one, Song Yudong, on the night I thought Vera won. I do think he done the nicer way, but then I'm watching again, and Yudong's just constantly throwing heavy punches, and he weren't as cute, he weren't as, you know, technical or smart about it. He was just throwing it, and he was landing, and Vera's got a hell of a chin on him because he was taking it all. But that was a toss-up for me. I understand obviously Vera's frustrated because he's there, he's ready to go really for a title shot, and he's just lost to a 22-year-old kid. Who's going to come again anyway. So with these fights, that one especially, I'd say just run that back. If you want to run it back, they're both still in the same position. I don't think it was particularly controversial. I just thought it was a brilliant fight, and he was so evenly matched, and I think they'll be so evenly matched again. I think that was the one where I was thinking round 2, I could have even scored a 10-10 because I just couldn't separate them. It was so close, and I thought 1 and 3 were quite clear for who won them. So if you had to say pick one draw from that night, I'd pick that one because they were so closely matched. Yeah, in my opinion, anyway.
And that's something that I think we need to see more in the sport. You know, draws, because there's 3 fights on there that could have ended in a draw, in my opinion, as well. That one definitely. The Barboza one, I'd have to go back and watch the rounds to really say that, but it was a close fight. I think. See, that's the problem with the scoring system. It has to be a 10-9. You know, if it was open scoring, you'd see more draws. I'm 100% sure. So. Yeah, it's a shame because they were all really good fights and all really close.
And there's nothing wrong with a draw as well. I know people don't like draws. I think especially the Americans aren't really a fan of draws. But no one loses, and no one really deserves to lose in that fight.
No.
So it's not nice for Vera to be taking a loss when he didn't really deserve a loss. But I'm sure if he had a draw now, he'd be like, okay, let's go again. But now he's just so annoyed. And Hill as well. Like someone like Hill, that was so close, that fight. Why she didn't really deserve to lose. But when you're saying ruling out 10-10 rounds when it's only 3 rounds, it's tough. So yeah, more draws. I'm all behind that one.
Excellent. Well, I don't know if you want to go through the whole preliminary card or just want to pick out fights from there.
Okay. Well, we'll start with where we're talking about, Elkins and
let's go to that one. Landau.
Launder. That was an absolutely great fight. That was my fight tonight. I was so surprised and it didn't get it. I just loved it. It was just, what UFC is just known for, just blood everywhere. 2 fighters just going to war. It was great for me. I wasn't expecting much from Nate. I didn't think, and especially in the first round, I thought he looked a bit stiff. He was too easy to hit, and then all of a sudden he just started letting everything fly. He was shouting to Dana, demanding his money and things like that. He didn't get it, so he's impressive. He's someone I'd pay attention to going forward. And then Elkins is just an absolute animal because he was eating everything. He's got damage tattooed across his chest and he's just covered in blood. He's just typical old school UFC fighter who's always in good fights. So that was my pick for fight night. Excited to see how Launder goes on, and also Elkins, always excited to see him fight.
Something you're going to do for every fight on this card, it seems. Who did you have winning that one? Did you think it was right?
Definitely Nate. Yeah, Nate, by quite clearly. Elkins was always in there and he was landing stuff, but he just weren't able to affect them. He was just eating anything he threw at him and then just coming back and hurting Elkins. And it was just, you don't go off how someone looks. I've never been someone to judge a fight. If someone's covered in blood and the other one's clean, it's good indication, but it's not how you judge it. But on this occasion, every time he hit Elkins, he was hurting him. And it was just savage fight. It was brilliant fight. I loved watching it. I'd watch that every day if you let me. So, brilliant fight.
Yeah, well, I agree with the decision, but I think all the showboating he did, and I think that was I think something like that influences the judges, So I think even just looking at his opponent and seeing all the blood, because it was a close fight. I didn't think it was that
it was.
Statistics wise. I know you didn't say you want to talk about statistics, but I didn't think it was like much of a stretch to go either way. But I think the showboating he did, and also Elkins just being covered head to toe in his own blood, really told the story of the fight, So
yeah, and I think a couple of judges scored it 30-27. That's not how I would
have
scored. I thought
not.
Elkins did. Elkins got around. He definitely got around, and it was nip and tuck. I just think he did edge it out, and all that stuff. I'm not sure how people are reacting to that stuff. I don't think people quite like the showboating and all the shouting, and it was all weird. But it was just one of them things where, for me, it's getting late and it's of a night, and it just wakes you up when someone's doing sort of crazy stuff that you haven't seen before. So that was great to watch. Yeah,
and like I said, it's got to influence the judges. Like if they hear you putting one hand behind your back and yelling to the Dana White, and obviously him being covered in blood, but he earned the win. I'm not saying that it was a bad decision. So yeah, what other fights on the prelims did you want to speak about, or is that it?
Well, Courtney Casey got
that's right.
didn't she? And the reason I want to mention it is because she got performance of the night, and I thought that was I thought the bonuses were a bit weird. When I seen them, obviously I was expecting Nate to get the fight of the night, and then Courtney Casey. I didn't see how that fight was going to go any different way. I expected her to win that fight and win how she won. So I was quite surprised she got. It was a lovely armbar though, and it's I think we don't see as many submissions anymore. Like all these classic submissions, everyone's got wise to them and they don't land as much. But when they do, it's nice to see. And she really tied it up tight. So shout to her. It was a great performance. I was just surprised.
Yeah,
then also
you go.
Go on, carry on.
All right, that was her move up in weight. That was her first fight at flyweight, I believe. So for her to come up and that was her first finish since 2016 as well, I believe. And I think that was an armbar as well. So it was a big night for her. A lot of getting back into the swing of finishing people.
Yeah, and then we had Gigi what is it, Giga Chikadze against
Chikadze.
Airman Rivera.
Yeah.
Chikadze. Yeah, that was a weird fight because hats off to Rivera. He was so tough. He took everything. I think Chikadze's got to be a bit annoyed not getting that finish because he stepped up on like a day's notice,
Yeah.
climbing the weight division. He had so much advantages. He was hitting him with everything and he just couldn't get the finish. And I think, to make a statement, I think when people step up on late notice like that, you should really be taking them out. So I'm sure he'll be frustrated. But then credit to Rivera, he took everything and he'll get another shot, which I'm hoping to see him at his proper weight class, 135, and see how he does because he's a tough guy, and let's see if he can actually start getting some stuff off now as well.
Yeah, because that was his debut, right? And that's really not an easy fight for your debut,
No, not at all. But on such short notice, but that if you want to be in the UFC, and you've got to be willing to
Absolutely.
take them chances. He's had a bit of a beating over 3 rounds, but he's in the UFC now, and he can go into his real division and show what he's really about.
For sure. And the other performance of the night bonus went to Miguel Beza when I think it was a left hook he caught Matt Brown with at the start of the second round. It was beautiful. Put him down. That was it.
You see, he very much earned that performance on the night. That was brilliant, and it was a great fight as well because Matt Brown was in it and hurt him as well. So, but the actual punch to finish it was just so sweet. It was beautiful, and then I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know where Matt Brown goes from here. To be fair, it was just. But it's great for him to get a name like that, to get Matt Brown on your record and to finish him because Matt Brown's notoriously tough. Great night for him. He's got 50k in the bank. He's got a big name on his record, and I'm sure people will be paying attention now when he next fights.
Absolutely. So I don't think there's any more fights on that card that I want to. What is any we have missed on here?
Just Kevin Holland. Shout out to Kevin Holland because he just went in and steamrolled him, and he landed nice shots and just finished that off really quick.
Right. I remember that one now.
And now they're speaking about him going to welterweight, where he's a big guy anyway. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what he does next. But that was a great win at middleweight as well. So always excited to see Kevin Holland fight. He's always game to fight, and it'll be crazy to see him at welterweight. Let's see what happens with him. But besides that, no, that's it done.
No problem. So what do you think of the card overall? Was it? I thought it was a good fight night, because it wasn't pay-per-view, so I wasn't expecting anything massive, and it really did deliver to a high quality. So what do you think? Yeah,
I think the fights that we thought were going to be good were good. I think Songyi and Berra, they're just two class acts. They are the top of the division. They was fighting a featherweight, weren't they?
Yeah, they went up for that.
Remember?
One.
Yeah, because
that's right. I was confused. Yeah, when we were on the preview.
Yeah, because I know. Yeah, but so they fighting a featherweight and they both look brilliant. So yeah, they were brilliant. Then Ig and Barboza, Ig showed where he's at. He showed his level by just competing with Barboza, because that was prime Barboza. There's nothing wrong with Barboza there. He looked strong. He looked powerful. He looked everything that he should be. And then you've also got the card where I was saying why is this fight called main event, but then they just shut me up, and Adela and Hill put on an absolute war. Hill's same place as Ig, where she showed what level she's at now. Even though she lost, she's right there, and then Adela just she maintains what everyone knows she is.
For sure.
And then obviously in the main event you got two heavyweights who. It was more fun than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd either be over quick or Overeem, decision in, and he drag it out. But he looked brilliant. He took everything. Mm-hmm. He landed a nice head kick. He dominated top position. He couldn't have done more. Yeah,
for sure. Well, I've got a couple of news articles from this week just to speak about, if you want to get into them. And the first one I've got here is John Jones and Francis Ngannou having a back and forth on Twitter. And update to this, John Jones tweeted out today or yesterday, I believe, saying send the contract. So he wants the fight. Do you think the fight happens? And if it does, how do you see the fight happening?
It's all about money. John Jones wants that. He wants that payday. He's not gonna fight Francis Ngannou for free. He understands how dangerous that is. He's not. Ngannou, I know we've seen Stipe taking him down, but he's not going to be easy to take down these days. I think he's fought Blades and Velasquez since, and he's took them both out. So John Jones isn't just gonna jump in with him and like try and take him down straight away. He's gonna have to stand up, and it'll be interesting to see. To be fair, I think if anyone's beating Ngannou, John Jones is the man right now. I do pick him against pretty much everyone else. I don't think we're going to see it next. I honestly don't. I think it's all talk, and I think Dana was saying he thinks it might be all talk as well. Like it's good enough saying it on Twitter, but when someone puts a number in front of you, and then you're looking at Ngannou and thinking, is that enough, or could I get the same amount of money for fighting, the next contender, Jan Blachowicz or whoever it is, or Dominic Reyes again? I think unless the number is like undeniably good, we won't see that fight. What do you think?
I think we do see the fight. I think it happens after all of this stuff gets finished. I don't think it happens without no fans. I think they wait until the fans can come and watch it so they can get the big... Because they're not going to fork out some stupid amount of money if they can't make money on the gate. But if they can make that money on the gate, I reckon they'll fork out whatever they need to get that fight to happen. But it all comes down to two factors other than that. Whether Francis fights again beforehand, and if he does, he has to win. And the same with Jones. If Jones decides to defend before he moves up to fight Francis, he needs to win. Actually, no, I take that back. If he loses, he can still jump up to heavyweight because they didn't have nothing to lose, right, at that point. But yeah. I do disagree with you. I think that DC is probably more trouble for Francis at heavyweight. Just because of the wrestling caliber.
Yeah, he's also got that short stature, but he can just dip under the shots and potentially take him down. But I think he just get caught on his way, and I just think anyone's getting caught at the minute by Francis. I'm fully on the hype train with Francis. I think anyone who's in with him right now is going to struggle. I think the fight might make more sense if there was a title on the line, unless someone lost. Like at the minute, I think you might as well wait on a year or so, see how the heavyweight division plays out. Either because one of them's going to get a shot, Jones, or Ngannou's going to get a shot at the title, and then if they win it, it's a massive fight. How would you put that on a card at the minute? Would it be a 5-rounder? Would it be 3 rounds? It's just a weird one when they haven't got titles. And so I think after Stipe Cormier 3, it's either going to be Ngannou, or they might just, get Jones to go up and because if Cormier beats Stipe, don't be surprised if they overlook Ngannou and say, okay, let's get Jones in a heavyweight to fight Cormier, and then he might take the belt. It's exciting a heavyweight, and it hasn't been for a long time. It hasn't been brilliant. Like heavyweight for a long time hasn't been this good, so it's exciting to watch. I'm excited to see John Jones actually go up because he's got all the physicality. He can go up. I just hope he finally makes the leap because I know it's a big one, but he needs to do it to cement his legacy as the best of all time. What's the point in fighting people like Dominic Reyes and maybe losing according to a lot of people? Yeah. Go up and fight some beasts and win and like everyone will call you the greatest all time then.
Well, that's the point I was just about to bring up is I think what they should do is have DC and Stipe fight like they're going to, and have Jones and Ngannou fight like around the same time so the timelines meet, and then the winner from each, because Jones wants to fight Stipe. He's said it before in the past, he's happy to fight Stipe. Obviously, Cormier Jones 3 will do big numbers. Probably not as... I think Ngannou Jones does bigger numbers, but that's a fight people want to see. Ngannou said he'd fight Stipe. Cormier said he's going to retire if he wins the belt. So... I think Cormier stays if Jones beats Francis, and the next fight is Cormier Jones. But I don't think he stays if he beats Stipe. I don't think he fights Ngannou. I think he retires. I think the only fight to bring him back, other than to bring him back if he wins against Stipe next, would be that Jones matchup at heavyweight.
Yeah, although people like to say they'll do it, it's hard to retire when you've got the belt because you've just got money sitting on your shoulder. You've just got. And if he wins that belt against Stipe, he's got so much. He's just got money. He's just passing up money. Like if he doesn't fight on, so it's whether he's needs the money. Yeah, well, it's not even needed. It's whether he's brave enough to pass it up because I'm sure even if you've got millions and millions, if someone says, "Oh, do you want another 20 million to fight John Jones?" You're gonna be like, maybe.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Let's first things first, get this Stipe Cormier trilogy sorted, and then we can just enjoy what happens next afterwards.
For sure. Well, I got one more article, and then we'll wrap it up after that. And this one is a great one. It's Stephen A. Smith suggests that Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje didn't grapple due to COVID-19 fears. What do you think about that?
I'm sick of this guy, and he seemed to be he seemed to think he was vindicated by what he said about Cerrone, because Cerrone admitted he didn't really fancy the fight, and it seems to have given him a new level of thinking he knows what he's talking about when he actually doesn't. They didn't grapple because they're not they don't grapple. Why would they grapple each other? It's a full on striking fight, and then it's also to say, why are them two the only fighters who didn't want to grapple because of COVID-19, but everyone else is already grappling? It doesn't make sense. I think obviously he's a big name and people in America like seeing him on the sports channels, and I don't know what he does, but he's frustrating to watch. As a true MMA fan, he's so frustrating to watch because I know about 1,000 people, 1 million people even, who can speak better on MMA than him. So, and the fact that he's getting paid probably big money for it's just so frustrating. No, they didn't grapple because they didn't want to grapple, not because of COVID-19. It's crazy. Yeah,
to even suggest that grappling would be more dangerous than standing toe-to-toe to someone, touching them with your hands, you know what I mean? Like, there's no more danger in doing like the grappling than what they did, you know? So it's just ridiculous. But I thought that was a funny headline, so I wanted to bring that one up. It
is a funny one. I think he might just be a troll. I'm trying to figure him out. Is he actually just trolling everyone?
Yeah.
It's weird, and I'm be interested to see like if he does get brought in for like the big shows and things like that. It's just because obviously he's turning MMA fans off. Like people, you might just think, oh, I don't want to. I'm not paying $60-$70 to watch him chat whatever he's chatting.
Fair enough. Well, that is pretty much all I had. Is there anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up?
No, we just got a bit of a gap now, haven't we? Till the next card, it's the 30th of May. So, but I'm not even sure what's going on with that. Like who's actually on the card or where it's going to be. So, hopefully they can get some stuff sorted soon and we can actually have some dates, because it's been nice having so many cards. I wish they could just go back to one a week and I'd be happy.
For sure.
But now we've got a little gap, so touch wood, they sort it out and we can, see, is it Woodley get burnt hopefully on the 30th.
That's what they're saying. Well, yep, that'll do it. I guess the next time we will do one of these will be once that card is announced and the week. So next week, because allegedly it's going to be on the 30th. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll speak to you then.